Have you ever seen a bird taller than a grown man, running faster than a car, yet completely unable to fly? That's the ostrich, a creature that seems more like a relic from prehistoric times than a part of modern farming. But in China today, this giant bird is not only thriving, it's transforming agriculture in ways few could have imagined. Once native to the wild savannas of Africa, ostriches are now at the heart of a booming industry in China. From the outskirts of cities to the wide-open plains of rural provinces, these birds are being raised for everything from their highly prized meat to their luxurious leather. And it's not just about profit. Ostriches are also being recognized as a sustainable, high-yield alternative to traditional livestock. In fact, a single ostrich egg can weigh up to 1.4 kilograms, equivalent to 2 dozen chicken eggs. Their meat is lean and rich in protein. Their feathers are used in everything from fashion to home decor, and their hides, marked by a unique pattern of raised follicles, are considered some of the most valuable leathers in the world. In this video, we'll take you inside the fascinating world of ostrich farming in China. You'll learn how these birds mate, how their enormous eggs are carefully incubated, how farmers process every part of the animal, and how ostrich leather ends up on the shelves of luxury boutiques. Before we begin, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss our next exciting videos. If you enjoy this video and its topic, comment with the number 1. We'll make more videos like this. And if you didn't like the content, feel free to comment with the number 2. The story of ostrich domestication begins not in China, but in the arid landscapes of Africa, where the world's largest bird has roamed for millions of years. Once hunted for their feathers and meat, ostriches were first domesticated in the 19th century, primarily in South Africa, as part of a booming feather trade. Over time, the focus shifted to meat and leather, and today the industry has evolved into a global network, with China emerging as one of the most ambitious players in the field. Unlike wild ostriches that sprint freely across vast savannas, farm-raised ostriches live in carefully designed enclosures that balance space, safety, and environmental control. In the wild, they rely on sharp instincts to avoid predators, moving in flocks and staying alert at all times. On farms, however, these instincts gradually soften as birds grow accustomed to a predictable routine, feeding schedules, limited territories, and human interaction. Their temperament becomes more manageable, but their physical strength and stamina remain intact. One of the most mesmerizing aspects of ostrich farming is the mating ritual. When a male ostrich is ready to attract a mate, he begins an elaborate display. First comes the rhythmic dance, wings outstretched, feathers fluffed, body swaying side to side. Then he emits deep, resonant booms and hissing sounds that echo across the enclosure. If a female is receptive, she responds by lowering her body and sitting still, a silent invitation for the male to proceed. The mating itself is brief, usually lasting only a few minutes, but the courtship process is a remarkable glimpse into animal behavior. Ostriches are seasonal breeders, with the majority of mating and egg-laying occurring during the warmer months. A healthy female can lay anywhere from 40 to 100 eggs per season, depending on age, diet, and environment. However, not all of these eggs are fertile, and even fewer result in successfully hatched chicks. This is where farming expertise becomes crucial. Success rates can vary widely, and farmers often face significant challenges in maintaining ideal conditions for mating and fertilization. Breeding ostriches isn't as straightforward as it might seem. Unlike chickens or ducks, which have been domesticated over thousands of years, ostriches still retain many traits of their wild counterparts. They're more sensitive to environmental stress, require more space, and their aggressive tendencies, especially among males during breeding season, must be carefully managed. Injuries between birds are not uncommon if enclosures are overcrowded or improperly structured. In this sense, ostrich farming stands apart from traditional poultry farming. While chickens are highly adaptable and can be raised in dense flocks, ostriches demand a more spacious, individualized approach. Their reproductive cycle is slower and they take longer to mature, often reaching slaughter weight only after 10 to 14 months. But the payoff in terms of meat yield and leather quality can be far more lucrative than standard livestock. Around the world, other nations have also invested in ostrich farming. South Africa remains a global leader, both in terms of experience and export volume. Australia has also built a significant ostrich farming sector, capitalizing on its wide open spaces and favorable climate. Even in the United States and parts of Europe, boutique farms continue to experiment with ostrich breeding as part of the growing market for exotic meats and sustainable animal products. China's rapid adoption of ostrich farming reflects both economic ambition and agricultural innovation. But behind every egg and every leather hide lies a complex biological journey, one that begins with a dance, a moment of stillness, and the extraordinary instincts of a bird that has never forgotten the wild. An ostrich egg is unlike anything most people have ever seen. Roughly the size of a melon, it weighs between 1.2 to 1.4 kilograms, equivalent to 2 dozen chicken eggs, packed into one thick-shelled vessel. Its outer layer is hard as porcelain, yet beneath that smooth surface lies a powerhouse of nutrients. Rich in protein, packed with healthy fats, and containing a wealth of vitamins and minerals, ostrich eggs are not just large, they're biologically dense, designed to support the growth of one of the largest chicks in the animal kingdom. But size alone doesn't guarantee success. Once laid, the true work begins. In nature, both male and female ostriches take turns incubating the eggs, keeping them warm and protected in shallow nests. On farms, however, this process is handled by machines, sophisticated incubators designed to mimic the precise conditions required for healthy development. The optimal temperature must be maintained between 36 and 37 degrees Celsius. Humidity, meanwhile, needs to stay within the range of 30 to 40%. Even minor fluctuations can prove fatal, either drying out the embryo or causing bacterial growth. Unlike chicken eggs, which can be placed in trays and left largely untouched, ostrich eggs demand constant attention. One of the most critical tasks during incubation is rotation. Each egg must be turned several times a day to prevent the embryo from sticking to the inner membrane and to ensure that heat is distributed evenly throughout the shell. Some farms automate this process with motorized racks, while others rely on manual labor. Carefully trained staff who rotate each egg by hand, following a strict schedule. The full incubation cycle lasts between 42 to 46 days. That's nearly twice as long as a chicken egg, and comes with a much higher risk of complications. Cracks in the shell, for instance, may go unnoticed until it's too late. Bacteria can seep in through tiny fractures, and slight errors in humidity levels can cause the internal air sac to shrink or expand abnormally, threatening the viability of the chick. For these reasons, farmers often candle the eggs, shining a bright light through the shell to monitor the progress of the growing embryo, looking for signs of movement, proper vein development, and healthy positioning. Even with the best equipment and expert care, not all eggs will hatch. On average, about 60 to 70% of fertilized ostrich eggs reach full term. Of those, some chicks may still fail to survive the critical first few days after hatching. When a chick finally emerges from its shell, it's already about the size of a full-grown chicken, wobbly on its long legs and covered in a fuzzy down. The hatchlings are immediately moved to a controlled brooding area, where heat, cleanliness, and nutrition must be carefully managed. Feeding young ostriches requires a special diet rich in protein and calcium to support rapid bone and muscle development. They must be kept in warm, dry spaces with ample room to move. Overcrowding at this stage can lead to stress, injury, or the spread of disease. Mortality rates for ostrich chicks can be high if hygiene, temperature, and feeding protocols are not followed to the letter. The reward, however, is significant. One successfully raised chick represents a future yield of premium meat, high-value leather, and potentially dozens of eggs if it's kept for breeding. From a purely economic perspective, a single ostrich egg, despite its high incubation risk, offers a return far beyond that of common poultry. In fact, a fertilized ostrich egg can fetch up to 10 or even 20 times the price of a chicken egg, depending on quality and region. Beyond the farm, ostrich eggs have also carved out a curious niche in the craft and decor market. The shells, once emptied and cleaned, are prized for their durability and natural beauty. Artists carve intricate designs into them, while others use them as canvases for painting or as raw material for jewelry and lamp making. In upscale markets, a hand-engraved ostrich eggshell can sell for more than the egg itself. This combination of biological marvel, technical complexity, and artistic potential makes the journey from egg to chick a central and often underestimated part of ostrich farming. It's a process that requires not just machines, but mastery. Once an ostrich reaches maturity, usually between 10 to 14 months of age, it transitions from the rearing stage to processing. This moment marks a critical phase in the farming cycle, where the bird's full economic potential is realized. Processing an animal of this size and complexity is no simple task. It requires specialized facilities, trained staff, and strict hygiene protocols to ensure that every step meets both safety and ethical standards. Unlike large-scale poultry operations where thousands of birds are processed daily, ostrich slaughter tends to occur on a smaller, more controlled scale. Many farms in China operate under a closed-loop model, meaning the entire process from rearing to packaging takes place on-site or in partner facilities. This not only reduces the risk of contamination, but also allows farmers to maintain greater oversight over animal welfare. Ethical slaughter is a growing priority in the industry. Regulations require that ostriches be handled with minimal stress before processing. Birds are typically led into quiet, enclosed holding areas to prevent panic, and stunning is used to render them unconscious before any cutting begins. These humane practices are essential not just for animal welfare, but also for meat quality. Stress before slaughter can lead to a condition known as dark, firm, dry meat, which affects texture, shelf life, and consumer perception. Once the bird is processed, every part of its body is put to use. The meat is carefully sectioned, with prized cuts coming from the thighs and back. Unlike chicken or duck, ostrich meat is red, leaner than beef, but richer in iron and protein. It's virtually free of intramuscular fat, making it an attractive option for health-conscious consumers. In recent years, demand for ostrich meat has grown in gourmet restaurants, specialty markets, and export channels, particularly in Europe and East Asia. It's often featured in fine dining menus, where chefs prepare it like steak, pan-seared, grilled, or even made into carpaccio. In terms of price, ostrich meat typically sits above pork and chicken, and slightly below premium cuts of beef. What sets it apart is not just the nutritional profile, but also its unique taste. Mild, slightly sweet, with a texture more similar to filet mignon than to poultry. It cooks quickly, thanks to its low-fat content, and retains moisture well when prepared properly. Beyond the kitchen, ostrich feathers represent a vibrant sub-industry in their own right. These long, elegant plumes, collected from the wings and body, are sorted by size, color, and softness. In the fashion world, they've adorned runway gowns, hats, and accessories for centuries. In more practical forms, they're used to make high-quality dusters, masks for stage performances, and even costumes for cultural festivals. The most delicate feathers are dyed and sold for art projects and luxury decor, where texture and movement play a central role in design. Internal organs, meanwhile, are cleaned and sold for various purposes. The liver, heart, and gizzards can be consumed or used in traditional medicine. The fat is sometimes processed into oil, which is believed to have moisturizing and anti-inflammatory properties. Even the bones are not wasted. They're ground into meal or repurposed for crafts and tools. What truly sets ostrich farming apart, however, is its environmental efficiency. Compared to cattle, ostriches require far less land, water, and feed to produce the same volume of high-quality meat. They emit fewer greenhouse gases, grow quickly, and convert feed to muscle with remarkable efficiency. This makes them an appealing option for countries looking to modernize their agriculture while reducing ecological impact. As global food systems shift towards sustainability, the ostrich stands as an unlikely but promising symbol of the future. It's a bird that delivers value in every feather, every cut of meat, every inch of hide, and does so with a lighter footprint than most traditional livestock. Ostrich leather isn't just another material, it's one of the most sought-after exotic leathers in the world. What makes it so distinctive is the pattern of raised bumps or quill follicles scattered across the surface. These natural textures come from where the bird's feathers once grew, and no two hides are exactly the same. It's this organic, dotted look combined with an exceptionally soft yet durable feel that gives ostrich leather its luxurious reputation. Transforming raw ostrich skin into finished leather is a delicate and time-consuming process. After the hide is removed during processing, it undergoes salting to preserve it before tanning begins. First, the skin is soaked to remove blood and impurities. Then it's limed to loosen hair and protein residues. After this, it's pickled and treated with special tanning agents, often chrome or vegetable-based, to stabilize the fibers and give the leather its long-lasting structure. Finally, it's dyed, softened, and stretched into shape. Each stage requires precise timing and temperature control, and any mistake can ruin the hide entirely. Once tanned, ostrich leather becomes the foundation for high-end fashion. Handbags, boots, wallets, belts, and even luxury car interiors are crafted from these hides. Designers love how the leather holds color, resists wear, and develops a subtle sheen over time. It's no surprise that global fashion houses like Hermes, Prada, and Gucci have used ostrich leather in their limited edition collections. For these brands, it's not just about aesthetics, it's about exclusivity. A single well-tanned ostrich hide can command hundreds of dollars, far surpassing the value of regular cowhide and rivaling some types of crocodile leather. But with that value comes challenges. One of the biggest is counterfeiting. Many imitation leathers are embossed with fake quill patterns and sold as genuine ostrich, often at steep prices. For consumers, it's not always easy to tell the difference unless they know what to look for. Authentic hides are soft, supple, and have a natural irregularity that's difficult to replicate. To fight this, some producers now use traceability systems, including barcodes or microtags, to confirm the origin of each hide. Sustainability is also shaping the future of exotic leather. Traditional tanning methods use chemicals that can be harmful to the environment, especially if waste isn't properly managed. Today, more tanneries are investing in eco-friendly processes, recycling water, reducing chemical use, and switching to vegetable-based tanning agents. These innovations are particularly important in countries like China, where ostrich farming is growing fast, and environmental regulation is tightening. There's also a growing divide between small-scale artisan tanneries and large industrial producers. Smaller operations may focus on quality over quantity, hand-finishing each hide for luxury brands and niche buyers. Meanwhile, bigger factories aim for efficiency and volume, supplying leather to mass-market manufacturers or export markets. At its core, ostrich leather represents a fusion of nature and craftsmanship. Each hide is the result of careful breeding, meticulous processing, and expert finishing. It's rare, it's valuable, and it tells a story, not just of fashion and function, but of the global industries working behind the scenes to bring it to life. Ostrich farming isn't just about meat or leather, it's about the future of agriculture. In a world where land, water, and feed are under constant pressure, the ostrich offers a surprisingly efficient solution. These birds grow quickly, consume less water than cattle, and require far less land to thrive. Their ability to convert feed into high-quality meat with minimal waste makes them one of the most resource-efficient livestock options available today. For rural communities in China, this efficiency translates directly into opportunity. Ostrich farms are creating jobs, diversifying incomes, and revitalizing underused land in regions that struggle with traditional farming. With proper infrastructure and support, even smallholders can enter the market, contributing to both local food supply and national food security. Recognizing this potential, Chinese agricultural policy has increasingly supported the ostrich industry. Pilot programs offer subsidies for farm construction, training for new breeders, and access to incubators and veterinary care. In some provinces, ostrich farms are even being integrated into ecotourism projects, where visitors can tour the facilities, feed the birds, and learn about the animals up close. This educational push is just as important as the economic one. Farming ostriches requires a different knowledge base than raising chickens or pigs. That's why vocational schools and agricultural universities are introducing ostrich management into their curriculum, ensuring the next generation of farmers is equipped for this growing niche. China's long-term vision also includes positioning itself as a major exporter of ostrich products. With rising global demand for sustainable protein and exotic leather, The country sees ostrich farming not just as a domestic solution, but as a way to compete on the international stage. Emerging technologies, from AI monitoring systems to selective breeding software, are now being tested to scale production and optimize efficiency, making ostrich farming a forward-looking model for modern agriculture. From courtship dances in dusty enclosures to handcrafted leather bags in boutique stores, the journey of the ostrich is nothing short of extraordinary. It begins with a single, oversized egg and stretches into a complex system of breeding, incubation, farming, and processing, where every stage is shaped by both tradition and technology. By the time the cycle is complete, nearly every part of the bird has found a purpose, whether as a gourmet delicacy, a fashion statement, or a sustainable alternative to more resource-intensive livestock. What makes this story so compelling isn't just the scale or the profits, it's the way the ostrich bridges worlds. It's a creature rooted in the wild, yet perfectly suited for the demands of modern farming. It's a source of premium luxury goods, yet also a champion of ecological efficiency. Few animals straddle that divide so effortlessly. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss our latest updates. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos.